died today, what would happen to the knowledge that you have? Would it die with you? If the answer to that question is yes, then you have failed as a leader. Leadership is not about popularity. Leadership is not about influence. Leadership means action. It's a verb. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration. Leaders don't manipulate, they inspire. And great leaders never seek followers. Followers just seem to be attracted to the gift. If you consider yourself a leader and no one is following you, then you're probably just taking a walk. These leadership perspectives reject any notion that being a good or great leader has anything to do with an inborn potential or trait. That's just not the case. No leader is born. Leaders can be trained, and behavior that a leader must have can be taught and developed. Therefore, anyone can become a leader. Anyone. But they must have the proper environment and training for leadership qualities to develop. I've got 3 things I want to share with you about my leadership perspective, legacy. Number 1, mentoring. Mentoring has been a major part of who I am as a person. I think the greatest act of leadership is mentoring because it's a selfless act and it's one that should be done out of love. When you look over in Greek mythology, there was a gentleman by the name of Odysseus. He went off to fight in the Trojan War. Prior to his departure, he left his son's well-being and upbringing in the hands of one man. Do you know what that man's name was? Mentor. This is where we get the term mentor from. The difference between a mentor and a coach is a mentor has experience, existential, what you are currently going through. So his instruction and his advice is based on not book theory, it's not based on television, it's based on experience. That's a real mentor. The coach, on the other hand, simply instructs you, compels you, moves you, prompts you to get you to do what you need to do in order to be successful. There is a difference between a coach and a mentor. A coach simply instructs you to do the things that you don't really want to do. I used to be a personal trainer, and I would instruct gentlemen and ladies all the time and have them do things that they really didn't want to do. But a mentor, on the other hand, he instructs you on where you're going because they've already been there. They lead by an authentic example, for real. And let me drop a footnote here. Tiger Woods is the best golfer to ever hold a golf club on the pro tour. And he's had multiple coaches. And I'm sure none of those coaches were better golfers than he was, or than he is. You see, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn, but occasionally you get the best of both worlds. He's not hiring them for their capability as a golfer. He's hiring them for their knowledge and what they see, or what they can see that he can in his game. As a leader in corporate, I was required to work with salespeople all the time. I'd have to work with each guy every month, probably once a month. Why? I'm glad you asked. Because you can't take people where they need to go unless you find out where they are. One day I was working with a salesman. He was down in sales, so I wanted to help him in capturing his quota for the month. He and I uncovered that he wasn't focused on his existing business the way he needed to be. He was focusing on just new business. He wasn't following up on the business that he had existing. He just kind of checked them off and said, oh, they won't buy, or they're only going to buy this. So every morning I would have him go in and make some phone calls prior to him leaving. Turns out he got more sales than he expected that month, and he actually met his quota. There's a quote by Hippocrates that says, before you heal someone, ask him if he's willing to give up the things that make him sick. Powerful quote, huh? Number 2, the greatest accomplishment of a leadership is to have trained a successor. Now this is where we get stuck a lot of times because we want to hoard whatever it is that we know or the knowledge that we have. Why? Again, you ask all the right questions. You see, when you train a successor, you live on through other people, not buildings. This is legacy. Legacy is really when a leader decides to become a mentor. the two actually come together. This is how you recognize legacy. Come here for a moment. Their leadership is still present in their absence. Now, who could I be talking about? What leader is still present in his absence? How about Dr. King? Still present. How about Nelson Mandela? Still present. Mother Teresa? Still present. This legacy can be your offspring, but it doesn't have to be. You see, you have enough love to go around, so don't be selfish and hoard what it is that you know. It can be to anyone who's available, because trust me, you have enough love to go around. My mentor's presence still lives on in me to this very day. I stand before you as a product of mentoring, and I have carried their teachings with me throughout my life. I was mentored by multiple men, and let me drop a footnote here. Everything that I have learned, I've learned from someone else. I have taken it and made it mine and put my personality and my spin on it, but I've learned it from someone else. So I want to tell you, learn from everyone, follow no one. Am I making sense? Learn from everyone, but follow no one. The people you are around the most make up the sum of who you really are anyway. My father was a quiet man who led by example. My uncle, strong spiritual man. My mentor in corporate, retired after 30 years of service. Head deacon at his church, solid individual. Another mentor of mine, principal, 2 schools at one time. And another mentor of mine who's a business owner pretty much his entire life. These mentors were all different. All we talked about was business. Others, all we talked about was relationship and marriage. Others talked about my mind and how bad it might be at the time or what I was thinking. Another was a spiritual mentor. They all allowed me to set the agenda. They taught me out of what I was going through. They were engaged listeners. I guarantee you I've got 2 mentors right now. If I talk to them, they could repeat back to me what I told them 2 years ago. They taught me a new way of thinking, challenging my limitations, assumptions, teaching me life lessons. This is why the Bible is so critical about teaching young people and passing down information, because they need it. In actuality, a lot of men and adults need it as well. So everything I've learned from someone else, but the way I do it is not the same as the way they did it. You don't invent your leadership, you detect it. You uncover it, then you implement it. I encourage you today to keep marching on, to leave a legacy to those within your circle who need it and who want it. Stop hoarding what you know, man. Stop hoarding what you know. Give it up. Pass that knowledge on to other young people, young men, middle-aged men, older men. Iron sharpens iron. Maybe you're too busy or you don't have the time to do so, but there really is no excuse to not do it. Even just 5 minutes a day can inspire a mentee that will make all the difference in the world. This has been K.R. Henderson. If you like what you have heard, please hit the like and subscribe button. And remember, as always, God believes in you. I believe in you. Stay safe.